Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought, number 1606. I don't know why, but I was very sleepy yesterday, and I woke up today at, I have to say, it was about 25 minutes ago. So if I look like hell, that's the reason. I'm sorry about that. I don't mean to look like hell, but when I look like hell, I guess that's what it is. That's what it is. And today we are going to go get it at launch How to Take Your Business to New Heights by Jen Duplessis, Lady Jen, America's Mortgage Mentor, forward by Michael J. Maher, Maher, The 7 Levels of Communication. We are on page 65 in section 4. Finder, the finder. The finder is, okay, the lead generation machine is the finder of the group. Chapter 4, section 1, Michael J. Maher says, each and every day, someone somewhere in my city needs my services. My job today is to find that person. The big idea, says Lady Jen, is to catapult your practice. You must develop and practice a finder mindset and attitude, capital F, finder. And you must be a lead generation machine. You must consistently initiate lead generation activities. I believe this section is the most crucial part of this book because this is where you, as a loan officer, should reside. The most important aspect in your practice is developing new business. Nothing else matters when you haven't developed relationships and or do not have new leads coming into your pipeline continuously. You have made the decision to be in an industry that is inherently difficult and stressful. Sales is inherently rich with rejection. When you accept this, you can move on to the thought that, okay, I'm in this world. How can I make it a really valuable and rich life? My recommendation is to choose the activities, products, and people that make you resonate and smile, and then run your business from there. If it's working with veterans, do VA loans and then become the best. If it's working with single women, start there. Your business will grow, and one starting point will lead to many others. The seeds will have then been planted for remarkable growth. Start with 1 or 2 points of interest, of passion, and the business plan that you develop around this real solid core will unfold in a very gracious and authentic way. That will give you a sense of value in our industry and to those you connect with, attributes of a true finder, capital F. Finder. As the finder, each of your priorities needs to focus on lead generating activities or LGAs. You must get your lead generating activities done first in your daily schedule. These are your daily phone calls, meeting and working with referral partners, meeting and talking with clients, and structuring loans. And there are a myriad other LGAs you should be thinking about and initiating. I guess that's the key to being a finder. You always need to be initiating, reaching out, extending yourself, and finding new ways to pull partners and prospects into your orbit. Initiating business comes first before customer service. If your systems are rock solid, this should be a breeze for you. I certainly don't mean that you give second-rate customer service, since your business growth depends completely on referrals and your reputation and customer experiences. Of course, you have to develop top-shelf customer service, but In terms of your daily time priorities, finding comes first. Customer service is second. When you add a minder to your team, this dynamic will shift. Now, this is a finder who is always needing to be initiating, reaching out, and extending herself, and finding new ways to pull partners and prospects into your orbit. And I have down here a little cat that does not want to be lifted up, who is trying to pull things into her orbit in order to cover a plate of food that she has just finished. So I am here. I'm back. Where it all comes together. The ideas I share with you in this book are meant to converge into one result, making you a better finder. When I share about creating your vision and plan and formulating goals for your practice, all those thoughts are predicated on your ability to find prospects, and bring in business and leads. When I talk about ideas for controlling your daily schedule and blocking your time to get more done, those ideas are all aimed at making you much more efficient in generating leads and business. When I discuss strategic relationships to attract and work with referral partners, those ideas are directed toward leveraging your connections to bring in more leads. Now, in Morsels of a Thought, my intent is to bring you some kind of entertainment and inspire you to have a great day, even if I'm not having one myself. um, and to impart some good knowledge, if not wisdom, from other people. Now, other people are wiser than I am and who know and experience different lives. And so I give you morsels of a thought in order to try to make your day better because you know a little more of the right things to do and which pitfalls to avoid doing. And then doing the right things to do, doing the right things to do brings virtue into the world. So when we bring more virtue into the world, little bits at a time, it actually adds up. And from what we have read before, we know that it accrues to the point that it accumulates and adds up to bigger and bigger amounts. But we do it always morsels at a time, incrementally. Okay, so here, this is Lady Jen in launch. I couldn't remember the first word. Okay, my hope is that I'd like you to think one thought as you read each page and chapter of this section and really the entire book. How can I apply these ideas to becoming a better finder? Better, even better, what I really want you to do is think this every hour of every day. Is what I'm doing right now going to make me a better finder? Is what I'm doing right now going to help me reach my goals and build my practice? If, and I hope it's not true, that your honest answer is no, then I want you to step back and evaluate why you aren't becoming a better finder and reaching your business goals. At the end of the day, you have to be able to look back and answer yes to these questions. Am I engaging? Am I leaning in? Am I passionate? Am I growing professionally? Am I creating richer relationships? Am I leaning into my business? Am I being true to myself, authentic? Am I making every minute count? Am I curious? Am I making every day count? As a finder, you should make the most of your time. What I'm suggesting is you put on the blinders and focus on things that are important in your practice to move the needle. First, do the things that are important to bring in more business, do them well, and do them in the most efficient way you possibly can. Always challenge yourself to improve how you go about finding new business, new prospects, and new leads. Recognize and embrace your role. Recognize and embrace your role. Hmm. In order to build your practice, you need to know exactly what your role is and not deviate from that role for even one day. If there is one, honestly, there are way too many. Thing I've learned is that there is so much you need to do in a day, and it's crucial to be able to fashion the best time to do the most important aspects that lead to new business. And please always focus on business building activities from 9 to 5. That is not the time to be working on your budget or printing flyers for next week. Do that later if you have to do it yourself. During the business day, build blocks of time exclusively for business building, for lead generation, for meeting with referral partners, and for moving your practice forward. Recognize what your most important role is and then block your time to accomplish that role. Make sure you put those pieces into your daily calendar. One rule of thumb to start with is to consider prospecting a minimum of 20 hours per week, keeping in mind that prospecting isn't necessarily just making phone calls, but it's also being in front of people. The first thing you might do in the morning is to make your phone calls from 9 to 10. Then hold your weekly profit partner calls. Then conduct 2 face-to-face meetings. You might meet with a real estate agent, a client for a discovery meeting, another type of referral partner, or attend a networking lunch. These are all lead generating activities. In the book, Never Eat Alone, which talks about reaching out to your circle of contacts all the time, one message is exactly what the title commands. Don't eat alone. Use mealtime to meet with a client, to take a past client to lunch, to have breakfast. So if you're making calls in the morning, say from 9 to 10, and then you have an appointment at 10, lunch with somebody, and then you have an appointment at 2, right there, you have done lead generating activities as the finder for most of the day. But if that's not, but if that's what you're doing as the finder and you also are the minder, you are also the minder, now you're stressed. If you've been accomplishing finder activities for nearly the entire day, when are you going to find time to follow up with all the referrals? When are you going to get to following up with pay stubs and W-2s and loan analysis on a client? If that's the situation you find yourself in, it doesn't make sense that you don't have help. Even if it's just you and a loan officer assistant and you're sharing the grinding duties, it just doesn't make sense to try to go it alone. You're holding yourself back. I beg you, please get out of your own way. Embrace fully your role as a finder. Delegate much of the rest of your practice to a minder assistant, and then you can move forward and succeed. If you can. If you can't, don't or won't get an assistant, then here's your crash course on carrying both roles. Make phone calls every day. Meet people 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday, but hold 4 appointments each day so you can mind and grind on the opposing days. Okay. Now, in morsels of a thought, I intend to give you wisdom. Wisdom is much more than knowledge. Knowing the right thing to do is wisdom. Actually doing it is called virtue. And so, um, sorry, I'm distracted. I'm distracted by something on the floor. Oh God, probably my cat. Um, I do have a cat, and I do have insomnia, and so I woke up and slept and woke up and slept, and this was I try to come here every day at 6:10 in the morning my time. It used to be 5:10, which in Pacific Standard Time would be considered 4:10. So now it's considered 5:10, but it's really 6:10. So in California, it's 6:10. Sorry about that. Anyway, Finder Basics, People, Time, Activities. This is by Lady Jen du Plessis in Launch, How to Take Your Business to New Heights. She says, I encourage you to tackle the basics. Finder Basics, People, Time, Activities. The people, time, and activities that generate leads. Stop wasting money, time, and effort on shiny objects and the next big thing in technology for marketing. Finding more business boils down to tackling the basics and doing that consistently day after day. She's got 6 bullet points here. Use the phone. A finder initiates contact with partners and clients. Make the calls you should make, not just the calls you have to make. Daily phone calls create and sustain momentum. Next, meet people face to face. It makes your relationships stronger, and it gives you the opportunity to dig deeper into how you can help each other. Next, send thank you notes to everyone for anything and everything. If you're making 10 daily calls, meeting with partners, meeting with prospective partners, conducting a seminar, and doing all the other lead generating activities you should be doing as a finder, you should be sending out 70 to 80 or more thank you cards a week. Continually cultivate and work with referral partners. Form relationships with a wide variety of professional partners, from real estate agents to financial partners to divorce attorneys to title company owners, and on and on. They will be a gold mine of business. Build and maintain your contact community database. This will quickly become the heart of your practice and may eventually account for most of your annual business. Next, differentiate yourself. Find ways to separate yourself from other lenders and come up with new, fresh ideas to generate new business. You're expected to have good rates. You're expected to close on time. You're expected to have good customer service. You need to find ways to go beyond all those basics and differentiate yourself in the market. Focus on what WIIFM. What's in it from me? Before I continue, I'm going to let you know that I have learned some of these things the hard way. I'm distracted again. Sorry about that. I'm hearing some big moving from small cats. um, how to close on time. Doing everything on time is very important. You're expected to have good rates. Now, I was in a business where I was expected to check prices without knowing, because my father was sick and I was doing his job for him, which his normal job was to go and make the rounds at all of our retail locations. And it turned out that somebody else was advertising something for less than we were doing, and that business, that particular location, wasn't bringing in anything for 2 weeks until I was told, you're supposed to be checking other places for prices. I said, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. And I was getting these miserable looks like, we're only getting how much from this place? So anyway, that was bad for me at the time. But then I was also 20. So now I'm not 20. So your chances of, Lady Jen says, your chances of success increase in proportion to the number of times you reach out to partners and clients. That is why I engage in so many communication activities to keep me top of mind with all my prospects and create richer relationships for all. Raise your finder skills to new levels. Take one idea and implement it with vigilance to create a strong new habit. Then, what are you doing over there? Excuse me while I find out whether my home's going to be on fire in 5 minutes. Hey, oh, Never mind. Never mind. Go ahead. Carry on. Carry on. Carry on. That was Esri. Esri was in the closet, coming out of the closet. Esri! But Esri is pretty straight as far as I know. Esri is one of my cats. And she was just doing something in the closet. And it was on top of something that was sounding like a big object being moved. So, and then, okay, there's Esri here. Esri is here. I'll bring her to you in a minute. Okay, raise your finder skills to new levels. Take one idea and implement it with vigilance to create a strong new habit. Then initiate the next idea, action, or system you would to incorporate into your practice. Whatever you do will work for you if you do it consistently. This is the key to generating new leads and prospects day after day, week after week, month after month. Focused, consistent work. I'm sorry about the distraction. Jen's Jots. She has 4 bullet points here. I'll read the 4 bullet points. Embrace and define your role as the finder for your practice. Your potential success lies with your ability to bring in business. Next, focus first on the basics, the people, time, and activities that will generate leads for your practice. Excuse me while I yawn again. Oh my gosh, boy, was I sleepy today. 2 more bullet points to come, and we're at the end of this section. Next, work on business building activities first. Next, don't try to do it alone. Hire a person or people to be your minders and grinders so you can do the most important thing, bring in business. Okay, so that's your finder business. Okay, so the next section next week will be chapter 4, section 2, called the buying window. And the big idea there will be keep in touch with clients over the long term so you can stay top of mind when they enter the buying window. She starts this part with a quote by Bird Baguette, Baggett. Know where your sales increases will come from. They won't just happen. Ooh, wow. Okay. Yes, how to bring your business to new heights. Implement these strategies. Do as I say, not as I do. Um, that's the honest truth. Um, I was so tired yesterday. What did I do yesterday that was making me so tired? I did something really big. I can't remember what it was at this time, but I did something really big and I was just poof, collapsed after that. And so when I woke up this morning, I woke up about 6 hours ago and then I took my med in the morning as though I had got up, but then I slept another 4 hours until just before the show. So here I am, here I was, here I were. Here we were. And I thank you for coming. I hope you have a wonderful day and that you have been inspired to take your business to new heights with a launch from Lady Jen du Plessis. Actually, I bet it's pronounced in French du Plessis. Jean du Plessis. Okay? Old Kinderhook.